Hello, everybody, and welcome to the garden. I hope your Valentine's weekend is as glorious as it is here in New York, Zone 5, Blossville, New York. It is a wonderful sunny day. It is about 36 degrees. The sun is shining, the snow is melting, and the birds are singing. Tackled two projects. Believe it or not, I'm going to get out into the garden and actually do something. I'm going to start trimming some of my crab apples. Those water sprouts are getting out of control, and with the snow as deep as it is, it enables me to stand there and reach up just that much higher. We're also going to do a little bird watching today because I totally forgot that it was backyard bird count weekend. If I was on the ball, I would have recorded a video a couple weeks ago so you guys could participate in the backyard bird count and submit your numbers. I think Sunday, the 15th, is the last day you can do it. I believe you can still go on the website and record things, but the official bird count is just this weekend. Anyway, we're going to set up a camera on our feeder, and then I'm going to show you how we figure out which birds are visiting and how we compiled the list that we did. And John and I have been busy watching birds this whole weekend, and we have quite a list, some things that we never saw before, which is exciting. So let's get started. Now, the backyard bird count is sponsored or organized by Cornell's Lab of Ornithology, the National Audubon Society, as well as, I believe it's Bird Canada. And what they ask people to do is record the birds you have seen in your garden or yard, as well as the birds that you are hearing in your yard. And I have found that by setting up a camera at the feeder, you can capture some birds that you might not be totally familiar with. I did this for the first time this weekend, and John and I had a blast just watching all the birds and identifying them. Just want to zoom in, make sure we can get our feeder really well, and things are pretty level. That looks pretty good. And we're just going to hit the record button, and we're just going to let that go and see what we can capture. We're going to leave the camera there running while we go tackle those trees. I figure it's going to take us about an hour to cut off all those water sprouts on the crab apples. Hi, girls. You want to go in? Go on. Go get your daddy. All right, for our pruning project, I've got a bucket to put our sticks in, and I've got my pruners. Retrospect, I probably should have got out here earlier in the morning before it really started to warm up. Then the snow would have been much crustier, and I probably could have walked on top of the snow, and it would have made things a lot easier. Of course, if I lost some weight, that wouldn't be as much of an issue as it is right now, but it is what it is. Crab apples are notorious for having water sprouts, and you can identify them because they're the long straight shoots that are coming off this horizontal branch. You can see they're long, they're thin, and they're very wispy. These take energy from this part of the tree, and by taking this off, it's going to give more energy to the branches that are actually fruit bearing, because these will not bear fruit and they will not flower. The other thing by thinning them out is going to open up the canopy a little bit more, so it's going to get better airflow to help with disease resistance. And this time of year, late winter, early spring, is the perfect time to come in here and take these off. Now, as you're pruning the water sprouts, you want to clip as close to the tree as you possibly can. You don't want to leave any little stubs sticking up. Sometimes those sprouts are growing at the oddest angles, and you may find you need to go in and cut up a little bit higher and then go back in and trim them down so that they are flush and not sticking out. This is going to make your tree look so much better, and it's going to discourage sprouts from coming back up in that place next year. The crab apples that I'm trimming today are all centurion crabs, and some of them definitely have more water sprouts than others. This one is just loaded with them. I don't know if you can see all of them in there. This one is just covered. Now, I don't remember, because I didn't keep good records, when I trimmed this tree last. Did I do something last year where I was trying an experiment to see if I trim at one time of year, will they sucker more? And it seems that these 3 crab apples over on this side of the garden have a lot more suckers on them. So I'm wondering if I did something different to it last year. But since now I'm making YouTube videos, we can keep track of it better. This one's also loaded with a lot of sprouts. I hope you can see them, which makes me think I trimmed these at a different time last year. Now, I've read that if you trim in the spring, that these sprouts will grow over the season, so it might be best to trim them in the summertime. Therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim them this spring, and then I'm going to come back this summer, and then next year in January or February when we come out here, we'll see if we have less sprouts. I'm thinking that may be what I did on the trees over there, because there were hardly any sprouts on those trees. So everything with gardening is just an experiment. Now that the tree trimming is done, we're going to go back and check on our recording. Hopefully the birds weren't too annoyed that I was outside, because the bird feeder is kind of close to the trees that I'm trimming. But cross our fingers that we got some good images. Welcome to the garage. What I've done is I've taken our recording and I have airplayed it to our TV. So right now we're looking at the bird feeder and the birds that were feeding at the feeder while we were outside trimming the crabapple trees. What you can do now is open up the Merlin bird app on a phone and hit the sound button, and it's going to start trying to identify the birds that it is hearing coming from this video. Now, it's not just the birds that are on the screen here. It could be birds that are up in the trees and are chirping. But as the birds start to make noise, it's going to start listing it on your app. So let me show you that. You can see how the birds are listed. These are the ones that it's picked up so far while I've been filming this. And you can see when it starts to highlight in yellow, there's the dark-eyed junco. That means that it's just picked up the sound of that bird. It does have a really sensitive microphone, so it's picking up things. It'll pick up a crow flying over, but this is really neat. We sat and watched a recording like this. We just took the phone, put it on the table, and then we played kind of a little game as far as who can identify the birds, which was faster, the Merlin bird app, or things that we had heard. What's nice is we also had some birds that we were unfamiliar with. There was a crested sparrow, and then there's the right-chested sparrow. Have seen those around, but I thought it was the same bird, but one has a little bit of yellow on its, right at the tip of its beak, so it's actually 2 different birds. That was exciting. We also saw some evening grosbeaks out here, and then I was trying to record them. Of course, they wouldn't come to the feeder when I needed them, but the Merlin bird app did pick up the sound in the air, so they were around. And so excited. We already heard a robin, and we saw the robin the other day, so spring is on its way. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I have inspired you to give the Merlin bird app a try and see what birds are in your area. Please be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and give me a thumbs up if you really like this video and you want to get more content from me and get the word out that I have some videos that others might want to watch. Have a great day, everybody. Get out in your garden and have some fun. Take care. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Now, I don't want you to think that you have to have a camera and set it up in front of your bird feeder to use the Merlin Bird app. It's a free download. Put it on your phone and then go for a walk in your yard. Go for a walk in the woods. Hit that sound recording. Let it pick up the voices that are in your neighborhood. And then try and identify the birds. It's a really fun way to bring in spring. And if you have photos of birds on your phone, it also can help you ID them as well. So get out there and use the Merlin Bird app. It's really fun.